tonight?
I'm right here, baby. I'm on the chat room showing my love. Angela got a nice question for me too. So let's make sure we address that when we come back on.
You want to address that right now?
Yeah, she said, what would you say to any new up-and-coming female rappers? Well, honey, what I would say to them is a couple of things. Number one is, do not make rap a hobby. If you're in this for, you know, you're serious, even though you love music, you want to do it, don't make it a hobby, make it a business.
Yes.
So, when I see people giving out their CDs for free, it disturbs me because I don't think that it should be free. I think that especially if there's original music on there, that you should sell it. I don't care if you only sell it for $3, even if you might only sell it for $2, but sell it for something.
Makes sense.
You know, because when you give stuff for free for people, they don't appreciate it like they would appreciate it if they purchased it. You know, and they're not going to really listen to it, so that's one thing. I don't like when I see people doing that. Number two, for females, if you want to have respect in this industry or in any industry, do not start sleeping with the DJs. Do not start sleeping with your producers. Keep the pussy. Hold it down. Lock it down. Keep the pussy special.
You messing up the DJ.
I know, but I got to keep it right.
No, what's something about that?
All right, well, I got to give you some of the Jews, though.
Angela Eli said,
That's all good, baby. You right, though. You right.
Wait, you sell those men a broken bike right now, huh? Mack Mama, you sell those men a broken bike right now. I don't understand, baby. Type that in better, because I'm not, what you telling them? I don't know, baby.
Love Kid said, Mack Mama, is there anyone special in your life?
Yep, money.
I know that's right.
Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin.
No, but you know what? Like I tell everybody, they be like, Mack, you know, you're not with nobody. It's not because I can't get nobody, obviously. It's because men today are too jealous. They don't understand that I have to be all things to everybody. That I love my people that love me, and that I flirt, and that I'm that delicious, and they just can't understand that. And they get in my way, and they start talking stupid, and I have to cut them off. It never works. Yeah, so it's better when I'm by myself. And I'm bisexual, so I like the women and the men. So, oh, shit. Oh, shit, y'all ain't know. Yeah, because my ladies, I love my ladies too, so it's both ways. And I might feel like being with a lady one minute, a man the other. Because this is, I'm that.
I know, but I'm just saying, how many people I don't see nobody just throw it out there
Baby,
like, yo,
listen, I
shit.
talk about it in my book. I'm not embarrassed. This is my life. I've been fucking with women since I was 15 years old. So this ain't no shit I done made up. Yeah, because a lot of good women, there's some new shit now. Just to say y'all fucking. Yeah, it's a trend. Like, now listen, I don't care what nobody say. I believe that, y'all know I love me some Nicki Minaj. I believe she's stunting and she do not fuck with bitches. It's a hell of a ploy. You know, signing bitches' titties and shit.
Right.
She fucks with her, the nigga that's beating up now, the white guy.
Beating up.
Y'all ain't hear that? Y'all I got to come up here and tell them what's going on in the media world, girl.
There's some things that just like fabricated.
Listen, nah, this ain't fabricated, man. They done put the police reports out. You hear her in the background crying. Her guy, SB, her hype man, SB punched in the eye. And my thing is, you know, when you know, it's sad because I don't know their relationship, their personal but all I know is that he shouldn't be putting his hands on a beautiful woman, period.
True.
Now, if it was a mistake, okay, one time maybe she provoked them because, you know, women, we have mouths too, and we hit first too. Let's not forget that. You know, women that abuse their men. But my thing is that she's not gay. That is what I keep trying to tell people. Oh, Nicki Minaj, she is not. It was a nice media publicity ploy to get the women to support her, and it worked. But she's not. Now, my thing is this. You might not hear me say it in my music, but this is my real lifestyle. So, because if I feel like fucking with a bitch, I'm gonna fuck with a bitch. I don't care who don't like it.
Right.
But I have been with men too. I got a 10-year-old daughter. I was married to a man for 17 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was abused by a man too. I was just on Hot 97 talking about the things that I went through in my marriage that made me bitter and disgruntled. But that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
But my thing is I love men, I love women, and whoever I feel like being with, I'm going to be with. But right now I'm single. Did that answer your question, baby?
There you go, Love Kid.
Did I give you a lot to hear?
Okay,
I got some fans for that one.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna plug this in. It's gonna be on your YouTube, so make sure y'all check Flashback Fever YouTube. And we just went dead on the air, I think. So y'all hold on. You know what I mean? Unless some people, but we're gonna keep going. Yes, Mack Mama.
Yes.
Now let's tell us earlier you mentioned Lil Kim.
Okay.
What was the situation between you and Lil Kim?
I'm gonna do one better. I'm gonna do something that I only did one other time on the show, and that's read a quick excerpt from my book, and this is gonna break down the whole Lil Kim thing.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go directly into it. Okay. Now, gotta take it from right here. All right, boom. I had around 20 personal furs in my collection, so I decided to start liquidating them. Okay. I called Tracy and I had asked her if Kim was interested in buying one of my coats. I'm talking about Lil Kim. That's Tracy. That was her personal assistant, which was a good friend of mine. She was. So Tracy brought me to her mini mansion in New Jersey. At that time, she was still down with Junior Mafia and they lived with her. It was a nice gated community on Rappers Row. That was the nickname I gave the area she resided because all the rappers lived in that area right over the George Washington Bridge. Kim had a fab place. I did a quick scan as I entered the door and eyed the Italian marble walls and white piano sitting elegantly on the raised platform in her living room. The cardboard-sized light cut up of her was classic Lil Kim, and so was the Gucci designer sofa. Her dining room table sat 12 and looked like a prop from the set of The Godfather. She was serious about that Junior Mafia stuff. I loved it. We went upstairs to the third floor where her master bedroom was located, and I showed her the mink. It was a beautiful white sheared swing skin on skin 3/4 length mink. Of course she loved it and wanted to buy it. Everything was going smooth until I told her I wanted $2,500 for the fur. She wanted to give me $2,000 and I wasn't budging. I felt like she was already getting a good deal. I was selling it for a third of the retail price because I had worn it a few times, and besides that, I really needed the bread. She was a celebrity. $2,500 should have been nothing for a star, right? Tracy had to pull me to the side and plead with me to give her the deal. She pointed out that if I looked out for her, she would probably help me with my rap career. That struck a nerve. I thought about it and decided the $500 short wasn't going to kill me, but I still wanted my balance owed to me at another time. We agreed that she would give me the $2,000 and I would wait on the $5,000. The business was concluded, so we started discussing my music. She was interested in hearing me, so I gave her a quick couple of bars. Chicks talk about hustling, I did that shit. Talk about being fly, and that bitch. Talk about being pushing whips, I had my shit. Before I had a flow, before I did a show, caught my beam and my biz, just to let you know. Original bad girl, like I said before. When I got to that last part, I knew I had fucked up with that original bad girl line. Kim's face told it all. It said, bitch, you won't take my crown. Her lips gave me a phony smile and said, aw, that was good, hon. Keep up the good work. You gonna make it. She actually said that shit in her phony white girl voice. I was 9 months pregnant, aggravated in 2 seconds from taking my coat and the money from her new ass. But Tracy gave me a look and I didn't want to mess things up for her because she had to work for her, so I gave her a pass. I should have known she wasn't going to help another female MC. She was a hater and wanted all the shine for herself. She looked at me and seen the threat. Even at 9 months pregnant, I was fly. I had on a butter soft suede shirt and some hot burgundy leather pants, and my full-length, light brown, two-tone hooded mink was the icing on the cake. She saw my Benz truck parked in her driveway and knew I was the real deal. She was not messing with me. It's funny because God don't like ugly. She was a pretty girl, even without makeup, and earlier in the conversation, she mentioned she wanted to get her nose done. Tracy and I tried to talk her out of it, but she was hell-bent on plastic surgery on her face. Now she looks nuts, and her career's over. Had she put me on her team, I would have influenced her not to do all that foolishness to her face. The body work was okay, but when God gives you natural beauty and you mess with his gift, you will be cursed, and the results are irreversible. Poor thing. That encounter with Lil Kim made me less of a fan, and then a year later, she really pissed me off. I made a mixed CD called The Realest Bitch Volume 1, and on that CD, I was interviewed by my friend. Her character was Cindy Simmons. We were spoofing my favorite radio personality, Whitney Williams. In the interview, I explained that I was representing for the average chicks from the hood that couldn't afford Chanel and all the designer labels. So I said, I could rock an Old Navy tee and still be me. When you know who you are, you always a star. That simple statement caused a lot of drama. I was selling my CDs all over the hood and happened to run into a dude named World that Kim was messing with at the time. He's well known in Brooklyn and currently locked up for murders. I hit him with my CD and I knew he let Kim hear it. What happened next caused me to lose it. Christmas came around, I received a phone call from my ex-girlfriend, Andrell. She was all worked up over something. Yo, did you see Lil Kim's Old Navy commercial? She yelled excitedly. Huh? What you talking about? Why would Lil Kim be in an Old Navy commercial, I asked, and then it was like lightning struck. She was saying the same exact thing I said on my CD, she had stole my line. I was so heated, I knew that she had heard my interview and took the concept of wearing Old Navy and still being a star to the company, and they jumped on it. It was a great idea that I wanted to present to Old Navy when I came out with my album, but yet again my dream was shattered. I was in a rage and vowed that I would destroy the little thief. I was intent on dissing her in every song I wrote after that. My second mixtape, The Realest Bitch Volume 2, was dedicated to shitting on her on damn near every track. I was obsessed with killing her street cred, at least in Brooklyn. This was before the internet was popular, so I had to circulate my mix CDs in the streets, literally out of my trunk. I wanted to make sure she heard me. She never responded by saying my name, but she would say subliminal disses in a few of her verses. She was smart. She knew if she mentioned my name that Mack Mama would have blown up instantly. I have since let that anger go and chalked it up as how the game goes. And that experience taught me to copyright any and all of my music, slogans, and lyrics. In this business, you can't be emotional and want to fight when someone does grimy shit to you. It's a matter of making the perpetrator pay.
Okay.
So that's an excerpt from Tales of an Original Bad Girl, and that explains to, I believe, Kenneth, who asked me earlier about Lil Kim doing a collab with her.
Okay. So what made you write this book? The book Tales of Original Bad Girl.
Tales of Original Bad Girl.
Autobiography by Mack Mama.
Now, Mack Mama. What made me write the book was two things. Number one, money. I was not making no money off of my music. I felt like I was spending way too much money and not seeing anything come in. A friend of mine that worked for Atlantic Records at the time, she told me, girl, you have a hell of a story, you need to write your book. And I was like, you know what, I think I am going to write a book because I knew authors, shout out to my boy Miz, the author Bishop. I knew a couple of authors, Caroline McGill, that were getting paid off of their books. So I said, you know what, let me write my book. I got a story to tell. I did 13 years of my life in prison. I was a bad girl. I did everything under the sun. I shot, I stabbed, I cut, I robbed, I stole. But I didn't want to tell my story like I was glorifying that life. So what I did was I told my life story and then I would step out in a different narrative and diagnose the insanity of the underworld.
Wow, that's
you know,
deep.
in the life that I lived. So
That's deep.
I wanted to, I wanted people to get something from my book. You know, if you're young and you out there, like you said earlier, gang banging, if you in the streets going to jail and you wilding out as a teenager. I started as early as 14. My mom was 36 when she died from the AIDS virus and I was 16 and I lost my mom. I hated God. I hated
Sorry
the
to hear
world.
that.
Yeah, and I was very bitter and angry and I had a lot of, frustration inside of me and I just went out there in the streets head first. But I wasn't always a bad girl. I was valedictorian of my junior high school. My godmother raised me, while my mother was getting high, off of, dope and crack and stuff and running around back and forth to jail. I came from a good background. It's just that I ran to the streets because of the pain I felt over my mother's bad choices. So I wrote the book, for kids that's going through it. And I also have things that, women that are going through, depression. I went through a very bad bout of postpartum depression after I had my daughter. I went through a very bad marriage where I was emotionally and physically abused. So I went through a lot of domestic violence. I went through a lot of stuff where I talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly in my book. I don't try to make it seem so cute. Of course I could have talked about me being the flyest chick in the world and all of that. I told some shit that I was embarrassed about, that people wouldn't normally tell.
Right, and that's what people, when you write books, that's what people are really looking for. They want to go deeper into things and then honestly get the truth out of you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because when you write a book, that's a point in time when you can be honest. It's not politics compared to, I don't want to offend anybody. That's your book. If the person wants to know, they can go out and buy it. You know what I mean? And that's a vehicle right there that I think.
I did. I autographed every shout out to Radio Scene. Y'all showed me so much love. Everybody that built the book, my book. And you know what? To be honest, man, after y'all bought it, I could tell you I was gonna give it to y'all for free.
But I'm gonna buy it. I like spending money.
But you know what? That's what I said. I said, you know what? They support and girl, go ahead and take the support. You need it. I love y'all though. That's what's up because that's what we have to do.
Because you put your hard work.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Respect that.
Thank you so much.
My movie's gonna drop next month.
And I'm buying it, baby. I support my people.
I know you
hear
will.
me?
I know you
I'm
will.
gonna buy me a hat or a t-shirt before I leave. So you're gonna get it right back. That's how I do. We gotta give it right back to each other. Jim Slice, when I met him at the club, I remember meeting you at Metro's. I didn't even have to go into my spiel. Homeboy said, oh, you wrote a book? Yo, I heard about you. Give me that. And cop that book ASAP. And I love him for that because that's how we should do. We should support each other. I don't give a fuck what the book's about. You wrote it, you're a black sister, you trying to do something, I want it.
You remember the first time I met you?
It was a Toes? Was that
DJ at Toes? Who was that? Was it D-Block there? And he was like, get me on stage. I thought,
yes.
And you want to take that move, and then you did that song with Styles P.
Yes.
A few weeks out of that, you got off on the grind.
I don't fuck around.
She tells me, I'm DJing at Toes. She tells me to get her on stage with D-Block. 2 big weeks later, she got a song with Styles P.
Yes.
She just not happy.
She don't play. She's on her grind. She deserves everything that she did. You deserve every bit of it. Ain't nobody, I don't care, male, female, I haven't seen nobody work as hard as you. You know what I mean? You deserve everything. And it's coming. You know, radio scene, flashback people, we got you. Your back, 10 speed and brown shoe, you know got your back.
That's right. Shout out to Cousin Twiz. I did all the interviews with him. When I first came home, Cousin Twiz gave me an interview right in the hood. So yeah, they always show me that. Everybody really, you know what, I have to really say, nobody really, if they hating, they ain't hating in my face. Everybody I encounter, shows me love. Thank you.
Somebody got to be the devil they hate on you. For real. Because as much as you've been through, and you just got a beautiful smile, and you speak real fluent, you speak real positive. I just don't see it. I see a good future.
Thank you so much.
I want to get into, because we're going to get short on time.
Okay.
But I want to get into, let's see, tell us more about the Amy Fisher files in your book.
Okay, I included a chapter in the book, which is a bonus chapter, and it talks about Amy Fisher. A lot of y'all youngins might not know who she is. She was the Long Island Lolita. She had got locked up in about 91. She shot this lady named Mary Butterfico in the head, and she was a young girl when she did it. She was about 16, and she was having an affair with Joey Butterfico, who was Mary's husband. And basically, I was locked up with her, and at that time, she was a notorious inmate and, infamous. But my homegirl, Latoya Foote, shout out to Latoya, she locked up in Danbury right now. She was like bodyguard Amy. So what happened was, when Toya got deported to Jamaica, I took over. She asked me to look out for Amy, and I did. So I share that story, but the bottom line is me and Amy fell out. And what happened was, Amy, when she came home 7 years later, she had wrote a book, an autobiography called Amy Fisher, My Story. And in her book, she talks about that she never messed with a woman in prison, and she never fucked with the police. So I was like, oh, this bitch is lying. Now she's pissing me off. So what I had was pictures of her, never seen before pictures of her incarcerated, and I had these letters, these handwritten letters that she wrote in detail about how she fucked with different women in prison, how she married her wife in prison, and how she set up the police and was fucking with the police, different things like that. I took the story back then to Star Magazine, and they told me, Amy Fisher ass, she's old news, we'll give you $500 for the pictures and the letters. And I said no. I had the foresight back then to say, nah, this bitch gonna be worth something. And fuck it, if she not, I'ma just hold on to this shit, because I'm not just gonna go out like no sucker and take no $500. So that was like 15 years ago, and I said, you know what, I'ma just put her story, put the story in the book because of, and my thing is I'm always looking at a marketing angle. The Caucasians love the bitch. She's on Celebrity Rehab now, as we speak. So she's relevant again. She was in the porn, now she's on Celebrity Rehab, so she's relevant again. And I said, you know what, I'll include that to get that Caucasian market. Because they like shit like that. That's an on-price shit. So that basically was about it. That's what that's about.
Okay. Sorry about that, y'all. I know we got a little, like I said, it's a new building. We're trying to get bigger and better, so we're still tweaking everything, but we're getting it right. I guarantee you everything's going to be right soon. So thanks to everybody right now for keep checking in, and y'all stayed up on it. Now, another thing we got going on, we just had this Jerry Springer.
Everybody, oh my God, everybody's talking about Jerry Springer. Yes, Mack Mama was on Jerry Springer.
Mack Mama.
Okay, and I'm going to tell y'all like this, and if y'all can't read between the lines, then y'all slide. Mack Mama is a promo hoe. So anytime I give me some promo, Jerry Springer is 5 times around the world that day. So I'm telling you, 5 times around the world that day, they knew who Mack Mama was, and they Googled Mack Mama, and I sold 636 books from that area on Jerry Springer. So take it for what y'all worth. I can't really disclose anything about the show because I'll sign, contracts. When you go on Jerry Springer, you have to sign paperwork, and I'm gonna leave it at that. But if you see it, you see it. If you missed it, go on YouTube, go to my channel, and you can check it out, Mack Mama on YouTube, or just Google Mack Mama on Jerry Springer, and it's hilarious. And oh my God, my ass looks so fucking big on Jerry Springer on TV. 10 pounds. and it goes right to my ass. You know how they say, so you can't report the
Guys, we weren't mad at it.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, guys loved it. Even the girls loved it. But I was horrified. Because I was like, now my ass ain't
And
that
that outfit was
big.
just sticking to your ass.
Oh, that outfit. I did, babe. I was a sexy
I took one look at God, I'm like that motherfucker.
Woo-wee. Shit, I said I had to do the damn thing. I'm being on TV.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, it was fun. But like I said, I'm a promo host. So if you see me on Jerry, if you see me on Maury, if you see me on, you know, any show, well, hopefully, you know what it is. It's me
Flashback
promoting.
Fever.
Yeah, feel me? Flashback Fever. If you hear me on Hot 97, like I was just talking about Gold Diggers versus, you know.
But Angie Martinez.
But no, not Angie Martinez. Lisa Everett.
Lisa Evans, okay.
It's promo. It's promo. But I'm gonna tell you something. The real Mack Mama is, if you want to know who I really am, please buy my book, because this is my heart and soul talking to you. I don't have a ghostwriter. I wrote this book by myself. I edit the book by myself. So if you see little errors, yeah, it's real, because I edited. I ain't no professional, but I want to do everything by my damn self. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is that this is who I am. This is me. This is Natoka Williams, AKA Mack Mama. And don't try to call me Natoka when you see me, because you read the book. Because only police call me that, or government officials. Mack, or Mack Mama, or Mama. But this is who I am. So when you see me on the, you know, television, all that shit, I don't know what the topic is, but if it's what it is, I gotta get in where I fit in. But if you want to know who I really am, pick up that Tales of Original Bad Girl. Go to my website, www.starstatuspublishing.com, and cop that book. I'm gonna send you an autographed copy. And go to Amazon if y'all got the Kindles, the Nooks, and all that. I'm on all the online retailers. You can download me right now to your thing. But the bottom line with that though is I try to tell people it's better to get it from my website, because you can't get the pictures and you can't get the soundtrack. So you're only going to get half the book, essentially. You're going to get the text and all the book, but if you want the full Mack Mama experience, go to starstatuspublishing.com, which is my company's website. And